Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon podcast. This is the podcast where I talk to business leaders in Asia. And today is a solo episode. And what I will be sharing today is how to build meaningful connections on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, I have maybe over 10,000 connections with over 20,000 followers. And throughout the years, I've had very meaningful connections. I've met up with my connections in Singapore, in Australia, and many different parts of the world, and made many friends, many acquaintances, and I've had clients from all around the world. I have had clients in Africa, North America, Europe, etc. And meaningful connections really help to do this. And also, I've managed to network and spend time with CEOs and business leaders of some of the biggest corporations in the world. So today I'll share a few tips of how you can actually build these meaningful connections on LinkedIn. Number one is identify, right? Identify who you would want to build relationships with. So it's not enough to go on LinkedIn. Hey, I want to build meaningful connections. There are so many users there. There are hundreds of millions of users there. Find out who, like some of you would want to make meaningful connections with journalists, right? Some of you would like to make meaningful connections with founders. I love making meaningful connections with business leaders, speakers, etc. Some of you are looking for a job, so please make meaningful connections with talent acquisition people. So find out who, right? So normally I would ask this question: what industry, geography? So where are these connections? Are they in Asia? Are they in Malaysia, in Singapore? What is the geography? What are their titles? So on LinkedIn, you can search easily with the free search by titles. What are they? CEOs, CFOs, hiring managers. Number three is by their industry. So if let's say you are in the biotech industry and you just want to network with the biotech industry, so just zero in, find out who. Very important. You cannot make meaningful connections with everyone, right? Not possible, but it is better to focus your efforts. And number two, if I want to build meaningful connections with someone, what I would do is to engage with their content. Leave meaningful comments. Number one, leave meaningful comments, and they will really appreciate it. So coming to say this is that they need to be creating content in the first place. So when you identify, of course, LinkedIn is a place with some of the best business leaders, but not everyone is on LinkedIn. Some of them are on Twitter, some of them are on Instagram. So only those who are on LinkedIn, and they have to be actively posting content. So comment on their posts, like their posts, share their posts, give, and you will receive. Number two, how do you do this at scale, right? So identify the profile. So for example, if you find all the CEOs in Malaysia who are active on LinkedIn, go to their profile, and on the top right corner, there is a bell notification icon. Turn on that icon, and every time they post a piece of content, you will be receiving a notification on your LinkedIn. So turn on that bell icon, and it will help you to be one of the first to engage with their content. So I turn this on for many of the people that I want to build connections with. So turn on that bell notification icon. Number four is to celebrate their milestones. So if you go to your LinkedIn tab, there's a network tab, and you can go in there and you can see anniversaries, job anniversaries, and many other different anniversaries as well. And then you can see their birthdays as well. So every single day, make it a habit, go in there and congratulate someone on their anniversary or on their wish them happy birthday. And that has got me clients simply by doing that, right? So very important to celebrate their milestones if they have milestones. Number five is to actually get them out of LinkedIn. Right. So if I'm not sure how I can help that person, sometimes what I would say is, hey, would you like to have a call to see how we can collaborate? So I actually propose a call to actually see how we can collaborate. So we help on a call, and I've got business that way and referrals that way as well. Or if you're confident enough, you can ask them out for coffee if they are in the same city, or if you so happen to be in their city. Bring the connection of LinkedIn. And last but not least, if you are meeting people at events, please connect with them on LinkedIn. And the best way to engage someone is to find out what events they go to and meet them in person. So I also have this podcast. This podcast is a great way to build connections, right? So from LinkedIn, I bring them onto Zoom, and then we co-create together to create that piece of content that really helps to build meaningful connections. So 5 ways, right? Identify who you want to build meaningful connections with, engage with their content, turn on the bell notification icon, find their milestones, and bring that connection of LinkedIn, whether it's a meetup or whether it's a podcast or whether it's an event. So it's very important. So I actually met a lot of them. A lot of opportunities come when I meet them for coffee. I've met people for coffee all around the world, right? So meet your LinkedIn connections offline, and there's a lot of opportunities that would come from that. Like, for example, this podcast came from a conversation I had with Kenneth Chu, who runs his own Mompreneur Space podcast. And the conversation happened at a cafe, and it sparked my idea to create this podcast. So there are a lot of opportunities if you manage to build those meaningful connections. This is where a lot of business leaders are. And I wish you all the best. If you have any questions on building meaningful connections, do send me a message, right? So thank you. See you at the next episode.